Hey traders, Jason here from Leavitt Brothers. Happy Sunday. In today's video, I'm going to do a quick rundown of some trading ideas. This is a more diverse list than I've had in the past. Over the last 2 months, I've been heavily weighted towards tech, but now some financials are showing up. A few retail names are starting to look interesting. So the market strength is getting more broad-based, so instead of being concentrated in just a couple groups, I'm seeing opportunities elsewhere. So I'm going to quickly flip through some names, go over what I see in them, just to kind of give you an idea what I'm looking for. Okay, some of these are new setups, others are trades that we may already be in, but they're offering a second opportunity to get in or add to an existing trade. Okay, before I get started, quick reminder: I'll be speaking online for the Money Show in 2 weeks. So there's a link below where you can register to listen. All right, that's it. So let's get started here. Let's flip through some charts. All right, here is Brookdale Senior Living, 8 or 10 week base, resistance level at 4, starting to get scooped up here by some moving averages. Not a strong stock. I don't see any volume down here that would suggest the stock's getting accumulated. If you like cheap stocks, it's not bad, but certainly not as good as some other trades. Still, not bad if you like cheap ones. Here is Ballard Power Systems. I like trades that look like this, where the stock is kind of asleep for a while, and you can see volume, and then out of nowhere it just jumps, and now it's like basing at a higher level. So I really like stocks that are asleep and then suddenly come alive and then start basing at a higher level. So I think dips within this range, as long as it can hold the range, as long as it can hold some key moving averages that are coming up from behind, as long as it could stay in this range, I think dips are playable, and then possibly we'll get a breakout, and a measured move takes it up over $12. Here is Cadence Bancorp. I'm starting to see some financials show up on the list. Okay, some banks, they based for a while, they lagged for a while, but now they're starting to break out of some bases. So here's Cade. It is based for about 2.5 months. It broke out last week. Got some decent volume here. So as long as it can hold the previous resistance level and maybe get scooped up here by some moving averages, maybe it comes down and tests the previous resistance level here, maybe it comes a little bit lower and gets scooped up by a moving average, as long as it can kind of hold up at a higher level than this base, then I do think there's going to be an entry here for an eventual move up to $10. All right, here's Avis. Big base, gotta like it. Huge, positive volume here, lots of positive volume here. Stock broke out last week. Now it's consolidating at a higher level. I like it on a breakout here. I like it better as, if it continues to trade in a little bit sideways motion to allow it to restore its energy. So I like dips within this range, the range forming at a higher level. I like to add on a breakout. And if all goes well, if the entire market continues to do well, then I can see this stock going up into the high 20s, maybe as high as 30. Here's CDE, broke out a couple weeks ago. I'd really like one more pullback. I don't get the sense that this resistance level here is like that solid. So I'd like to get one more pullback and get scooped up by the 21 EMA. If it can bounce off there, then I think there are dip buys over here, and then you could add to it as it breaks out, and a measured move takes it up into the 7s. Cherry Hill Mortgage broke out 2 weeks ago. This is a stock we're already in. Broke out 2 weeks ago, pushed forward, not bad. If we get a little bit of settle back down here, get scooped up by a moving average, I think there'll be entries here for a possible move up to 10. It's a REIT stock. It comes with some risk. Right now it pays a really nice dividend. We'll see what happens. Okay, from a technical standpoint, I think it's turning the corner and starting to do much better. Who knows if you get bad news from the REIT sector. Cloudera broke out couple weeks ago, ran up. Sloppy pattern here because you got this long lower tail there, and then you got a long upper tail there, and then on Friday it closed above at a new high. So I think for short-term traders only, this could be a good momentum trade. Okay, if it fails early next week and comes back in, then maybe we can get some sort of a consolidation pattern up here that we could then buy a dip for an eventual breakout, a week or two later. Cleveland Cliffs, this stock's we've already profiled this at Leavitt Brothers. It broke out. Now it's consolidating like a lot of patterns. It's like we have moved down, neutral pattern sideways. Now we're trying to get a trend change underway. Volume down here is pretty good. Okay, so if the stock can consolidate up here, I think there are dip buys within the range for an eventual move up to $6. CVET, where do you profile this? We profiled this at Leavitt Brothers when it was over here, broke out, ran up really fast, straight line, didn't even no down days. Now it's consolidating a higher level. I get the sense that it's a little bit stretched. I mean, from $4 down here, it's already 4x'd. But if you were to back up the chart with the weekly, there's actually a really strong resistance level that's at 15 that goes back quite a ways. So you could say this is actually on a longer term chart. This is like a consolidation pattern just above long-term resistance, which then measures, up into the 20s. For now, I think, key position size is small. I think it could break out and run again, but it seems really stretched because of this move is so big. So I'd say think of it as a short-term trade right now, and then you can loosen up a little bit if things go your way. Domo, we've profiled this a couple times at Leavitt Brothers. We profiled it here, and then it moved from 15 up to 20, and then we profiled it again here, and it moved from 20 to 25, and now I'm looking for a move up to 30. Okay, good group. Obviously, volume is going really, really well here. So it's kind of stretched here because it's gone up so much, but it's done so well. I kind of like going back to the well. So I like dips within the range here. Maybe we get a dip below the low and it gets supported by the 21 EMA. Either way, it's on my radar for a move up to 30. FHN, First Horizon, another bank stop based for 10 weeks, broke out, fell back into the base. It's on my radar. I'm not playing it right now. I'm not in. But if we can get some sort of consolidation pattern up here and the stock doesn't completely fall all the way back into the base, then I think we can eventually get a breakout and possibly move up to 12. Jack in the Box, one of the higher quality restaurant stocks, has recovered almost its entire drop. Okay, we've profiled it and played it at Leavitt Brothers a couple times along this way. For the entire month of May, it's been consolidating between 60 and 70. You know what? Market does well, continues to trend up. Then I can see this stock breaking out and just moving from 70 to 80. Maxar, at least that's how I think you pronounce it. This is kind of an old friend of ours. You can see back here in November, big move up on volume. We profiled in December, kind of getting squeezed by converging trend lines. So we profiled it here for this type of a trade. I would consider this to be lucky. Okay, when I'm looking for a technical move and I think it's going to go 3 or 4 points and it ends up going almost 10, I consider that luck, but I'll take it. So here the stock's been kind of asleep for the last couple months, and then suddenly last week it just kind of caught fire. Okay, so this is going to be hard. It could keep pressing forward, in which case you're just going to have to buy it, or maybe we get a minor dip back to a moving average and we'll get a chance to buy it a little bit lower. But as long as it doesn't fall apart, and as long as the market does well, like this volume here looks great, and I think the stock's probably moving, up to 18, maybe even higher. Microsoft, okay, so near term daily chart, we have ascending triangle pattern forming, so the converging trend lines kind of act to build pressure and energy into this position, so when it moves, it moves fast. If we were to back this chart up with a weekly, you'd see that there's, this over here is the all-time high. So if you back it up with a weekly, you actually see a much bigger pattern with a resistance level there that actually measures way into the 200s. So for now, I'm just looking for a technical breakout. The size of this pattern measures up, 10 to 15 points. I put the target at 200 just because it's a nice big fat whole number. But if the entire market cooperates, and we can consider this a technical breakout from the weekly chart, then we're going well into the 200s. MTG, another financial stock, it's an insurance company, broke out of a base, moved up, volume over here pretty good, moved back down. So, again, like some of these, if it can base at a higher level, then I think there will be, dip buys within the range for an eventual breakout. Right now, I'm just looking for $10. Micron, on a longer term time frame, Micron is trading in a big consolidation pattern that goes back like 2 years. So I consider this pattern here to be, like a pattern within the pattern. It has no directional movement, no momentum, none of that stuff. So I think, buys within the range can be done for trades. And then if the stock suddenly catches fire, then maybe we get a measured move up to 55 and maybe up to 60. But again, no directional movement right now, no directional momentum. So you really need a burst of volume and a clean breakout. Planet Fitness has done really well off its lows. Not easy to trade because there's gaps just everywhere, gaps and like long tails on these candles, and more gaps and more tails on the candles, and just not a very smooth mover. I'd love one more dip down to like the 50, just because I want a lower risk entry rather than chasing it higher. But anyway, so if we can get that, that'd be a great opportunity to buy, and then maybe it could break out here and actually do a measured move. If not, we have a couple of tight candles here, so there's still an opportunity. But if I play that, it's going to be a no tolerance trade. Like it either works or it doesn't. I'm not going to stick around if it doesn't work. Royal Caribbean, this was a tough one. We profiled it over here, and then it gapped up, and then we kept it on our list, and then it gapped up again, and so we're looking at it at 35, thinking target's at 50, and it made it to 50 in like 6 days, but it was hard to get in. So that's the way it goes. So anyways, now with a resistance level at 50, we have like a new breakout here. So now we're looking at 65. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So if it can consolidate up here, lots of volume, pretty soon cruises might be opening up. At least that's the anticipation. So if they do, like this thing's going to move again. And this move here looks small, but it's actually 30%, so not bad. Actually really good. Red Rocks Resorts, basing here. We've profiled this a few times. I mean, this doesn't look much, this doesn't look much, this doesn't look much, but those are like 20% moves. The stock finally broke out. Massive volume here. So like a lot of these, if it could base at a higher level, I think dips within the range are possible. So right now I'm just looking for like a dip here that I can zoom in with a 60 or 30 minute chart. I can buy a dip and then just ride it to the top of the range. And then if it breaks out there, then great. Maybe it goes up to 20. That would be the measured move after a breakout. All right, a couple more here. Snap, big rally up, almost matched its high. We have two consecutive days, two consecutive up days on big volume. So this stock looks like it's being accumulated. It's Wall Street's warming up to it. This stock broke out at 18.5. I think it's going. I have my target here at 20. It's probably going to go into the 20s if all goes well. Unified Foods. This one was profiled at Lever Brothers back here because we could draw like a resistance line over there. Broke out, big volume, trading a cup and handle pattern, then obviously broke out again and moved up. So right now, this over here is like the biggest volume update we've had over the previous 6-7 days or so. Closed at a higher high. So right now I'm just kind of looking for a momentum move. So zoom in with an intraday chart, find a decent entry with a relatively reasonable stop. And so right now I'm just looking for a momentum move up towards the previous high. Upwork. Let's see here. So really weak, double bottom, moved up, got cupped by some moving averages, ran away from them, and now it's settling down into like a triangle pattern. Okay, higher lows, lower highs, pressure's building. So I'm just looking for a move out of this area up to the previous high. Love the volume here. The stock definitely being accumulated. All right, so that's it. Thanks for listening. Good luck next week, and I will see you next time.